pretty much the rule of thumb was is that you had to have absolute, written permission from whoever you're waiving the setback on. And in a lot of cases where it really made, 90 foot, 10 foot's not a big deal. If that neighbor is comfortable with that and has no objection, I would support it. We get some of them that are very low, they're 35 feet. And you think, why would you approve that? Oh, both of them may be short-term rentals. So, one short-term rental is not a nuisance to get another short-term rental. Oh, and then I've also seen it where it was two houses together. They were very close, and the owner of both properties lived in one and rented the other, and he was not very successful as a long-term renter. And to me, that was almost like bed and breakfast. That was almost the best one because literally the property manager was less than 100 feet away. So they were very positive examples of when we waive the setback. But if it's less than 100, and you come in and say, I'm not comfortable with it, then I'd be more apt to support not waiving the rule. But just to confirm, you did have a letter of approval from the neighbor
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Louis Moten from the North River District. You had just mentioned that you would often base your decisions off of neighboring properties. I have brought up before, and I believe another constituent has contacted the supervisors before as well about some kind of scoring metrics. And I believe if something were available on your website that says, hey, this will factor in, and if you can't get your neighbors to agree, then it really isn't worth your time to approach the supervisors. It would save everybody time if they knew that going in, that this was an immediate disqualifier. It might not be an immediate disqualifier, but it sounds like it's really going to impact that. I don't know what it is. Is it a score or not? But your decisions, if it's very much impacted by a negative neighbor that doesn't want this, please bring that up front and stop wasting everybody's time. We don't have to have these hearings if everybody knows ahead of time it's not going to work unless they can get their neighbors to agree. Thank you.
If I could just say, I think within the last 6 months, I think we had 2 work sessions about this. I might be wrong about the number of months, but we've had a couple of work sessions. And at the last one, I think we, and this is what I want to verify, is that grid scoring method had been mentioned. And has that been sort of like taken into a project to evaluate by planning guys?
I have looked at it. I have not forwarded it to legal for review. Frankly, upon my review of it, not much of it looked legally viable. The overall structure may be something that we could approach, like a by right versus by CUP kind of division, but the individual functions within the table that was presented, not much of that had anything to do with the supplemental regulations in place for short-term rentals or addressing public health and safety factors as it relates to a conditional use permit.
The only thing I would like to clarify with planning for comments that were made, there is some value to discuss with your neighbors to kind of get a feel so that neighbors aren't caught off guard when a sign goes in the yard that there's going to be a public hearing. So we have encouraged having discussions. I never thought of it the way that you mentioned it. It's just nice to have an idea of how well this is going to be received in the community. And the other thing, there is an avenue if any of these, a conditional use permit is just that, it's a condition. You break any of these conditions and they're brought before us, the conditional use can be pulled.
Just had a question, I'm not trying to put staff on the spot, but how many short-term rentals do we have right now?
202.
And how has that been going? Because I think, like Dr. Jamieson said too, and tonight we had 6, 7, 8. It seems like, I think at one point you all had a separate meeting just for public hearings, but has that seen any type of dramatic incline lately?
We are seeing a decline in applications.
I
have put together a short-term tourist rental study that has been provided to Mr. Gottschall, and I believe he will be sharing that with you all soon. We're just waiting to hear back from some planning commissioners if they wanted to discuss anything further. I have heard back from 2 of them, that provided no commentary other than providing the numbers by magisterial district. But I can get with Mr. Gottschall and we can get that study to you guys ASAP. That shows, it has a breakdown of as much information that I could possibly think of for you all to review. So we currently have 202 active and approved short-term tourist rentals. 19 of them are grandfathered.
Good evening, Supervisors. My name is Louis Moten from the North River District. I imagine this item will be included on the report that will be sent to you, and I would hope that that report is available to the general public as well, because I'm very interested to see what those numbers are like. Thank you.